this is Lynn Madijan from Madijan's Herbals, and we are going to talk about sourdough starters today. So, first of all, what I want to talk about is why sourdough. Sourdough right now is because if you're in the grocery store, you're not finding much in the line of yeast. And so if you want to start baking your own bread or biscuits or pancakes or anything of that nature, sourdough is the way that you're going to get the leavening and the rising that you need. Other good reasons for sourdough is the fermentation process. The fermentation process actually breaks down the gluten. So if you are sensitive to gluten, you still may be able to eat the sourdough bread because it is so much less gluten. It also breaks down the simple sugars, and so it's good for your blood sugar. If you're diabetic, it's not going to raise your blood sugar quite as high. The fermentation process also gives you higher B vitamins. It makes it easier to store the bread, and it neutralizes the anti-nutrient called phytic acid that allows your body to absorb other minerals. The phytic acid stops your body from doing it, so you're getting more nutrition out of the sourdough bread than you would anything else. Now, there is a little bit of a time commitment. It takes 1 week for your starter to be robust and able to make really good bread. You do have to feed your starter daily, but you can use it after 4 days with other leavening agents like baking soda and baking powder or even yeast. It will give it the sourdough taste, but the rise for the yeast as well. Now, tools. Sourdough contains acids and other living organisms that can react to some metals. So the kinds of tools that you want to use are either glass, wood, or plastic. So I have got my glass jar. I've got a wooden spoon. And I've got a paper top. This is a coffee filter that I'm going to use for the top of mine. This is probably one of the easiest things you're ever going to do. So what I'm going to do is I take a half a cup of flour and put it in my jar. And then I take a half a cup of water and put that in my jar. Now what I'm going to do is stir it up, and I'm going to stir it up vigorously because we want to get air into it. It's kind of like when you make scrambled eggs. If you want flat eggs, you don't stir it a lot, but if you want fluffy eggs, then you stir it. We're going to be talking about this sourdough starter at the beginning of each class for the next couple of classes because this is done. You started your sourdough. So put your lid on it. The lid has to breathe. So if you are putting like the regular mason jar lid on it, it won't breathe and it will not ferment. It takes oxygen for the fermentation process. So this is day 1. You're going to put it in a place that's warm, room temperature warm, and in 12 hours, so in the morning, you're going to go ahead and feed it again. And you're going to feed it 1 half cup of flour and 1 half cup of water. Now, the thing about the water that I didn't tell you before, and you're going to be fine right now, but most tap water has chlorine in it, and the chlorine inhibits the growth of the yeast. So get your half cup of water before you go to bed tonight. Put it in, some kind of container that is open, and then use that because the chlorine in 12 hours will dissipate from the water. And then just do that every morning or every 12 hours for the first 3 days. So you're going to feed it twice a day for the first 3 days. On day number 4, and I'm going to write this down and put it on the Facebook page. So if I'm talking too fast, then you can, no, the temperature of the water doesn't matter. I wouldn't make it too hot. I mean, again, like room temperature water. Temperature that isn't going to make you cold or make you hot. For the person that said they missed the first part, this will be put on the page as a video if you are wanting to start over and look at the beginning. Day 4, or day 3. Day 3, you should see some differences. You should see some bubbling, and it should start to smell a little bit sour, like sourdough does, and you know you're on the right track. Day 4, by that time, this is a quart-sized jar, and I'm putting in a half a cup of water every day. So by day 4, it's going to be about half filled. So on day 4, you're going to take everything out and discard it except for 1/2 cup. And then you're going to continue to feed it. Now, the thing about that discarding is it is still yeasty. It is still going to make the taste of sourdough. And what you can do is use it in conjunction with other leavening products. If you want to make soda bread, you can make a sourdough soda bread by using the baking soda in conjunction with the sourdough starter. If you, so the 3 leavening agents are yeast, baking soda, and baking powder. So you can make crackers, you can make pancakes, you can make anything that doesn't rise really heavily. You have to wait a little bit. After day 4, what you're going to do is start feeding it only once a day. But every time that you feed it, you're going to take it down to the half cup and start over. Recipes for sourdough starter generally run between a half cup and a full cup. So it will, and as you get more mature, up to the 7th day, you're going to find that it actually rises in itself. So all of a sudden, what didn't change much from 1/2 cup to 1 cup is going to grow, and it's going to be a lot bigger. So that is, that's how you do a sourdough starter. Now you're going to keep it, if you bake every day, and you want to feed it every day, then you're going to keep it at room temperature in your house. If you decided to not bake every day. I mean, I live by myself. I can't bake every day. I couldn't get out of my door if I baked every day. So what I will do is after I've used it once or twice, then I'll put it in the refrigerator. And then you don't feed it when it's in the refrigerator. When you're ready to bake again, the night before, you take it out, or the day before, you take it out, feed it in the evening, and then in the morning you can bake. So that's it. Now these are mini classes, but I did want to do a little bit more. So I'm going to actually take you for a walk into my yard for a few minutes. And then I'm going to try and end this up with a frugal tip that you may not know. If you have some to share, put that on with me, okay? Now, so what I want you to do first is look at, this is lemon balm, okay? Now see how it's tied around the lemon balm and then tied at the top. And then I put it on my drying rack here, and these are dry and ready to be put away. This is what you're going to want to do with any herbs that you find. So we're going to go out into my yard. My yard is overgrown, and that's okay, because I kind of like it that way. So what I have in my yard right now, if you have raspberries, now is a good time to pick the leaves. The raspberry leaves are good for women's moon time. If you've got blackberries, the blackberries are good for your digestion, for dysentery, for diarrhea, for things like that. And what you'll do is, again, tie the leaves up and let them dry. Now this, okay, I'm going to turn you around here. Okay, this is purple dead nettle. Now, I have this all over my yard. And it is, even though it's called purple dead nettle, it has no relationship to stinging nettle. It actually is a mint, and it is very good for inflammation, for joint pain. You can put it topically. You can use it on in a tea, and it is it's pretty sweet tasting tea. Now I also have here in my yard, and I bet everybody else does too, is dandelions. Now the dandelions are good for your liver and your kidneys. You can use the root. You can use the leaves. It's also very high in vitamins A and E, and it is, and you can eat them in salads. So that's pretty cool. And the third one that I have right over here, and I have no idea where it came from, but this is parsley. So I've got all this area here of parsley. I should never have to buy parsley at the store. It is, again, dry it, crumble it, put it in your spice cabinet. So the last thing I want to do, these are mini classes, so they're not taking long times. I'm going to leave you with my frugal tip of the day, and then I'm going to tell you about the next class that we're going to do. So the frugal tip of the day is about your breakfast. So if you are having bacon and eggs and all kinds of wonderful things for breakfast, what are you doing with your eggshells? Now this, can you see that? Okay, there we go. This is ground up eggshells. Now if you do magic, putting a circle of eggshells around your house is for protection. If you garden, calcium is good to put back into the soil. If you raise chickens, it's good to give back in the chicken food so that they have calcium and their eggs become stronger. If you grind it fine enough, if you think you're not getting enough calcium in your diet, you can actually put it in soups, stews, and casseroles. It has to be fairly well ground, because if it isn't, then people are saying, what's this crunchy thing in my mouth? But if you're just throwing away your eggshells, that's you're losing a whole lot of fun things. The next class we're going to do is making laundry detergent. So what you need for that class is a bar of soap, 4 gallons of water, a container that you can put 4 gallons in. If you are using bottled water, you can put it back into the bottled water container. I actually have saved a great many old liquid containers from previous laundry soaps. The other thing you can do is put it in a 5-gallon bucket. And you need to have a grater as well, and a big stock pot that you can put the water in, as well as the soap. Baking soda, and I'm going to teach you how to make washing soda out of your baking soda. So that's what you need. Thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed this. It was fun for me. And drop me a note on the Madachan's Herbals page with thoughts, and also if you have some good ideas for other classes that you'd like to have. So thank you for coming, and I will see you on Wednesday. Bye-bye.